beautiful soul. My name is Mara, and I welcome you to this Pick a Card reading. These are going to be your full moon predictions. This full moon will be in Gemini at 23 degrees on Sunday, December 15th, though this is a timeless reading. And if you find it on a different full moon, then you're more than welcome to stay and see what resonates. If you're interested on or in how this is going to affect you astrologically, you can take a look at your birth chart and see where 23 degrees Gemini lands, and that will determine what house this full moon is transiting for you. You can read about that house and see what aspects of your life the house is bringing up for you. We're going to go over some big details like what you have created and manifested since the new moon in Gemini on June 6th. We're also going to look at what area of your life is being illuminated and highlighted by this full moon. We're going to look at what is no longer serving you, as well as how you can release those things to make room for something that feels better for you. So I'm going to go over each crystal for the piles, and while I hold those up to the camera, I will be playing a sound for those that would like to choose their reading clairaudiently. So let's start with reading number 1. Number 2. And number 3. All right. If you need more time, you can pause the video or you can go back through the reading selections. If you are interested in purchasing any of these decks, you can visit my Amazon storefront. And I have a bunch of other decks that I really love to use as well listed in there. I also have each deck individually listed below in a link. I do earn a commission off of it, but it doesn't affect the actual price of the product, so it's at no cost, extra cost to you. So all 3 readings are going to be timestamped in the description below. You can find yours there. We're going to begin with reading number 1, and I will see you at your reading. Hello, group number 1. Welcome to your reading. Let's dive into your full moon in Gemini messages. We are going to start with what you have manifested and created over the past 5 to 6 months, or since the time of the last new moon in Gemini on June 6th. So we have chaos and conflict and happy, happy. Okay, so this is really telling me that you've probably been through it the past 6 months or so. This is really pointing to a big internal change that was brought on by some external changes that felt out of your control. The way that this zebra is shifting into a giraffe, it's feeling very much like you had somewhat of an identity crisis where you really had to reinvent yourself in order to find peace in your new environment, in order to navigate the new world that you have really created for yourself. the really good thing about this is that you have began to create this really beautiful happiness for yourself. And this card, it doesn't speak of happiness from outside circumstances. It talks about happiness being birthed from within. And so I think that in order to get this, you really had to go through these big chaotic changes that were very uncomfortable at the time. And maybe you still are feeling the weight of them, but you are creating the space for this really solid form of happiness in your life that will persist through future obstacles and future things that may not feel that great. Overall, this is a really beautiful thing to have created for yourself. And though it may have been really difficult and very chaotic, it's so worth it in the long run in your life because it's creating your ability to persist and be happy and playful and joyful in some really dark situations in your life. And that is literally a superpower, honestly. It's such a powerful thing for you to be able to do that. So now let's take a look at what areas of your life are being illuminated and highlighted by this full moon. So, ooh, wow, we have the Ouroboros, the Great Serpent, and Speculum Glass. So this is a really powerful message that the things that are being brought to the surface right now are um your inner cycles. It's this card specifically speaks of a life cycle of change, of growth, and the spiral of ascension. This can speak of shedding old skin so that you can start a new process. It can even speak of repeating a cycle from a new perspective so that you can clean things up and create these beautiful gems in the process of repeating a cycle. It feels as though with glass here that you will be focusing in on something. It's feeling very much like your perspective about some kind of cycle is going to be coming into play. The way that you perceive your life, the way that you perceive whatever this cycle is speaking of is really going to be important. And this full moon in Gemini is really giving you the opportunity to take a deeper look at it, to focus in. Maybe you want to make a list of the things that you want to let go during this time. And if you feel like you are about to repeat a cycle, which is never really a bad thing unless you aren't changing something in the cycle, um, if you feel like you're about to repeat some things, then make a list of ways that you want it to feel different, of ways that you want to navigate it differently. Maybe what you have learned over the past 6 months. Maybe you want to explore some things through journaling and looking a little bit deeper. I feel like when you get really clear about things, that's where you're going to find the most clarity. That's where you're going to find uh, the most answers that you are seeking in your personal life. But it's definitely feeling like a really important time in your life for you to look at things a little bit deeper, look at things from a different perspective, one that maybe is going to give you more insights moving forward. So now we're going to look at what is no longer serving you. Okay, wow. Okay, we have the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Wands. So this is feeling like maybe you have been trying to start something and it's just not panning out. And the reason for that is because you are carrying too much. Again, there's this feeling of, with the glass card, it's like it's really blurry outside of your focused perception. And so it definitely feels like in order for you to start this with success and for you to follow through and really get what you want out of this adventure, you're going to have to lighten your load. You're going to have to put some of these things down so you can actually see where you're going. This card does speak about reaching your goals. You will reach this town that you're heading towards, but you really do you want to let go of some things so that you have the room to really see where you're going so that you don't have to hurt yourself on the way there and all the things, it's really difficult to carry that much. And this may be other people's responsibilities. You may be holding on to other people's things a little bit too tightly. Maybe you are a people pleaser, and that's totally fine, but when it's coming to this project, if you keep approaching it in the same way, I feel as though you're really going to find a lot of obstacles. You're going to find a lot of hurt and struggle, and you're going to probably repeat a lot of these chaos and conflict lessons that you have really learned over the past 6 months. But I think that if you choose to have this aha moment where you take a step back, you maybe put everything down and just take a look at what's in front of you and zero in on what's actually going to be successful. The Ace of Wands, I mean, this is only one wand that he's carrying. And so it's like maybe you want to get rid of everything and just start from scratch, even though that may be frustrating to hear, especially if it's something that you've been persisting at for a long time. You're not going to be successful in it unless you really clear the space to actually be successful at it. I feel like there are some things that are weighing you down in that area of your life that you are trying to begin with, and unless you address it, it's going to feel frustrating. Again, you may be successful, you may get to the thing that you're wanting, but don't you want to do it from an easier perspective? Don't you want to do it from a lighter, more free and happy environment that you've created for yourself? This is the universe saying that there's something that you have been trying to start that needs some reevaluation before you begin it again. Before you start this cycle again, take a look at what's important and let go of what's not and what's not working for you. So now let's take a look at how you can let these things go, because I don't want to leave you toolless. We have the flame. So, okay, this really coincides really well with happy, happy. The flame can speak of an internal flame, of your drive and your passion for life, which is interesting because it's feeling more and more like this is a creative venture, something that you are passionate about, because the Ace of Wands does speak of opportunities for new enterprise, new material and spiritual progress to take form, and for you to go after creative adventures. And so this is feeling, and also the Ace of Wands, the wands in general, are the fire element. And so it's very much pointing towards your ability to light the fire in you again, to maybe your fire is overcrowded. Maybe you need to clean out the fire pit before, metaphorically, before you put new logs in and start a new fire. This is, I feel like the universe is saying, slow down and take a look at how you can reignite this passion that you have, the desire for what you want. What is your why about this creative venture? And this may also be pointing towards your physical health. How can you ignite that as well? Maybe you need to be eating a little bit better. Maybe you need to be working out when you can, and stretching your body, moving your body. It definitely feels like there's an opportunity here for you to really align with a healthy aspect in life, and not just in the physical one, but also mentally. So again, there's that feeling of clearing space so that you have the room for your flame to grow and to exist and be alive and well. Because a crowded flame is gonna go out. It's gonna go out quick. So, lastly, let's take a look at what your spirit guides want you to know about all of this. We have brilliance. So, this card is speaking about like the strike of passion and the strike of an idea in your heart and not so much in your mind. It's like this passion that you feel drawn towards, a pull, if you will. And so this is telling me that you need to or that your guides would really, I don't want to be like you need to do this, but your guides would are really suggesting that you slow down and try your best, whatever that looks like day to day, to find things that feel good in your life and follow those things. They may not make sense right away. They may not feel like they are related. One day you may feel really drawn to getting some gelato, and then the next day it's all about sewing something. And then the next day it's all about going ice skating, and then the next day it's this, and the next day it's that. But eventually, as you are following those impulses to do the next thing that makes you feel good, even if you are, you still have to handle all of your other adult responsibilities. If you are following that little string of things that feel good, you will find I'm feeling like an avalanche of prosperity, of really nice abundance in your life, of a long-lasting happiness that has really restored your drive in life and your ability to really go after what you want. So for this full moon, it's a time for you to get clear, for you to focus your perception in a way that's going to allow for more flexibility in your life. There is a cycle that is about to repeat itself, or some kind of um, shedding that it wants to take place. And for you, it's going to be about taking away before you can add more. It definitely feels like you've been through it and you're really trying to get out of it as quickly as you can. But the universe is telling you to slow down and have patience for your own personal process and all of this, because without your energy, there just wouldn't be. Um, I hope that resonates, but it's definitely feeling like this inner flame is going to be lit soon, as long as you're willing to really take this opportunity to lighten your load and focus in on your desires in a way that is clear, in a way that makes sense to you. I do believe that you will be creating a very solid form of happiness for yourself and leaning into some really good feeling things around this time. So keep your heart open and keep following the signs and the synchronicities that your guides are sending to you. I hope that this full moon treats you well and that you really resonated with this reading and found it to be insightful. I love you and I wish you all the best. Blessed be. Hello, group number two. Welcome to your reading. Let's dive into everything that we can find out about this full moon for you. So, we're going to start with what you have created and manifested for yourself over the past 5 or 6 months, or since the last new moon in Gemini on June 6th. So, let's take a look. Time for a nap and new life. Okay, so I feel like you are coming into a time for some slowness, for some recuperation. Maybe you've been really working hard, doing a lot in your life, and the universe is saying you've manifested this space for slowing down, for getting time back to yourself and finding a little bit more balance. It's really beautiful the way that these are synchronizing, the sleepiness and then the way that she's stretching and entering this new life. So I feel like first you have to make the decision to accept this manifestation. You have to make the decision to actually lay down and fall asleep, choose to slow down, lighten your load, make room for you and yourself and the things that are important for you so that this new life can begin. It's feeling almost like a rebirth, but in a more gentle way. It's not feeling like a shock to the system. It's more like you slowly slowing down and then finally getting to that space of rest. And then after you've been there for a while, you will start to wake up. You may have already started this process, but it's going to start to pick up soon, and you'll be able to really stretch into this new life that you've manifested for yourself. Maybe there was a lot going on that was really negative and heavy, and because of that, you really needed to slow down to create something more gentle and peaceful for yourself. And that is what is being offered to you in this new life card. So now let's take a look at what area of your life this full moon is illuminating. Oh, so we have winter and antimony. So this is an interesting combination of energy, but first I want to point out that winter is a time of rest. It is the beginning of the seasonal cycle, and it's the really slowed down and hibernating kind of energy that surrounds us and that gives us a chance to rest before we move into spring, where things are starting to move and be birthed into reality. So maybe this is more about your future, and this is more about what's happening right now, but the universe wants to let you know that there will be a rebirth. But this is it's saying that you need to be focused on your rest. You need to be focused on your own winter cycle. Not everybody is in their own personal winter time. Sometimes people are in spring right now, or summer, or autumn. It just depends on you and your own personal cycle in this life. And so, getting familiar with what's working for you is what's going to be best for you, because I think that right now you are in your winter and you are needing to slow down and not do as much. With antimony, this is all about feeling a drive and a passion towards something, but doing it from a creative space. And so maybe you are feeling a little bit of creative blocks in your life that are really persisting and existing in a frustrating way. And the way around that, the way to soothe that is to rest and to realign with your inner fire, the thing that drives you in this life. It definitely feels like this is the universe saying it's time to focus on your rest so that you can feel inspired again, so that you can take action from a creative and curious place rather than a forceful and I just need to get this done kind of place. Okay, so let's now take a look at what is no longer working for you. Oh, so we have Temperance in reverse and the Seven of Pentacles. Um, this is definitely telling me that you are probably a workaholic. And it has gotten a little bit out of hand. Maybe that's why you're needing to slow down. And the universe is urging you to take care of yourself. With temperance in reverse, it's you've fallen out of balance. And that balance that once made you really great at your work is now suffering, and it's taken a back it's on the back burner, and it needs to be on the front. You taking care of yourself in all ways is going to be the most beneficial thing for your work. If you are struggling to find balance, then you're not going to want to harvest these things. They're not going to ever feel good enough, and the way that he is hesitating to harvest these things, it could be a symbol of admiration towards his harvest. But I'm really feeling with temperance in reverse that it's like, is what's the point? It's not ever going to be good enough. It's not going to be what I want. I have to work harder and longer and more to create the harvest that I want. And so the universe is saying that does not work for you anymore. Maybe at one point going really hard and striving for perfection really did a lot for you, but right now at this time you're reaching a stage of burnout, and you really need to start taking care of your physical health as well as your mental health. And that is going to start by slowing down, lightening your load, and entering your winter era, an era where you can rest and recuperate before you begin again. It's not a permanent thing. It's not going to last forever, you being slowed down, but it does need to be respected and honored in a way that's going to make you feel like you can do it. So whatever that looks like for you. Yeah. Okay. So now let's take a look at what you can do to release this behavior, this workaholism, or this unbalanced work environment that you are struggling with. So we have the ring. Okay. So this is about inner discovery, of really recognizing and honoring the wholeness of life. It's interesting. The last reading got Ouroboros, and this card does speak a little bit of the Ouroboros symbol of the cycle, the silic. That's not a word I'm going to use. I don't even know how to pronounce that. The the idea that things are always repeating, and from a different perspective, but this loop around kind of feeling. And so this is also, when you think of a ring, sometimes, usually, it's like a wedding ring or an engagement ring. And so there could be some love that is trying to enter your life, but it's only going to come to you through the ability to really get into that rhythm, get into that cycle of self-discovery, turning inwards and really leaning into what makes sense and what is feeling right for you. And this is also definitely feeling like, with temperance in reverse, that it's a time for you, in order to get out of this. This is going to be that you're going to need to focus on your ability to love and be loved, and for you to recognize the whole picture and get out of whatever zeroed in perspective that you have about this, and that the idea that you can only do it one way and that it will only work one way, it needs to be let go of, and for you to jump in alignment with the idea that things are deeper than they are on the surface. Things can be and have many more solutions to them if you open yourself up to it. The ring is a very um, complex energy, but it's so simple once you get in alignment with it. Once you get into that rhythm of accepting your depthness, and accepting the love that is in that cycle. So lastly, let's go ahead and take a look at what your spirit guides want you to know about all of these messages here. Fragments. Wow. Okay. So this is a very clear message that the way through all of this is through inner child healing. That can be a really frustrating thing to hear, especially for somebody that just, quote unquote, does not have time to really focus on that. But this is the universe and your spirit guide saying, when you slow down, there will be an opportunity for you to heal some limiting beliefs, some unconscious blocks that are really prohibiting you from achieving the work that you want to do. There is something there it's like you've come to a head and you cannot move forward, or if you did, it would feel very difficult. But you can't move forward unless you are willing to take a look at what the underlying reason for these difficulties are. Where are they birthed? Where is your I almost said alcoholism, maybe that's something that you're struggling with, but where is your workaholism really spurring from? Where did that birth from? And when you give yourself the ability to look at that, you are no longer fragmented. You are bringing yourself into this feeling of wholeness, this feeling of of putting all the pieces together and making it make sense in a way that's right for you. Sometimes this takes a little bit longer than we want, but it's a good thing that you're entering your winter era. Um, so you can really focus on this healing that is trying to take place. So, overall, for you, pile number two, this is definitely a time for healing, definitely a time for rejuvenation, for release, and a good full moon for you to do a cord cutting ceremony, some kind of releasing ceremony where you are asking to have that energy severed from you and this really unbalanced, toxic feeling. And it's time to maybe just take an actual nap. Maybe today is all about you just resting and relaxing and not doing so much. Maybe you don't need to do a ritual. Maybe you just need to relax. But know that there is hope. There is really good things for you on the other side of this restful period. You just have to be willing to take take the opportunity to actually rest. And your guides are saying that inner child work will benefit you tremendously. And remember that these things that you are waiting to harvest, they still exist. You can still harvest them. You still have rewards that are waiting for you to to grab a hold of. And so don't feel like you are missing out just because you aren't doing as much. Sometimes you do or you receive more when you do less. It's all about balance, though. It's all about getting this temperance energy from the reversed position into the upright position where you feel healthy, you feel revitalized, you feel vitality in life, you feel passionate and able to really feel that balance that life naturally offers us, but we have to really align with. So I wish you all the best this full moon. I hope that you receive the things that you want and you find a place of peace and restfulness in your life, and that this balance is restored in your life as well. Blessed be. Hello, group number three. Welcome to your reading. Let's take a look at everything we can find out about this full moon for you. So, starting off, we're going to take a look at what you have manifested and created for yourself over the past 5 or 6 months, or the since the time of the new moon in Gemini on June 6th. So you got fork in the road and yang. Okay, so this is the masculine energy coming out here. It definitely feels like you are about to be presented with an opportunity to choose a different path for yourself. Maybe you were assuming that you would head down one way, but you end up going down the other way. It feels like you could choose the yang or the yin energy, the masculine or the feminine. So you're being asked to choose the more masculine, the more active, and really outward energetic path for yourself. So maybe one that seems like it requires you to do more, but in the long run is going to provide more for you. It's feeling like whichever path you choose, it's definitely going to be a beautiful journey, but the one that's going to fulfill you the most at this point in your life is going to be the one that's centered around you maybe doing a little bit more than you anticipated. Yeah, this is feeling like the universe has and you have really created this opportunity for yourself to feel important, to feel like you are heading in a very clear and precise direction. So, whatever seeds you planted, they are about ready to manifest. I feel like you're about to go on a pretty intense adventure. So, now we're going to take a look at what areas of your life are being illuminated and highlighted by this full moon. Wow, we have Chiron and coagulation. So Chiron is actually in Greek mythology, he is the rejected son of Saturn. And from the pain and the abandonment of his rejection that he experiences, he transcends in that and becomes a great teacher. So, Chiron in your chart is a very important indicator of what childhood wounds or things in you from past lives that you need to focus on for healing. So, this is definitely telling me that you're going to want to be focused on some healing, or at least that the new moon, this full moon, is offering you the ability to really get into that healing mode for yourself, to really get involved with what's going on internally and what's going on beneath the surface so that you can really find a better path for yourself, find alignment with things that feel more authentic to you. And with coagulation here, this is, when you think of coagulation, at least when I do, is it's like blood, something that is turning into a solid form, is coagulating on the surface. When you get cut, it's your blood is turning from a liquid form into a solid form to protect you from bleeding out. And so this is feeling like you are bringing things together. You're watching things come together in a real way. The saying, "It's all coming together," is centered around the alchemy process of coagulation, where things really start to create a solid form. And the beautiful thing about this is that if you are able to and really dive into this healing, that you will be an active participant in this coming together of things. I feel like you will be involved in really um, looking to explore what is being solidified in your reality. And and that is a beautiful process. You don't really want to be uninvolved in this, because then it's uninteresting to you. It's the solid things in your life become mundane, they become boring, and not really something that you want to have in your life, have in your existence. It's not fun when you aren't part of this experience of things forming into a solid piece. So now we're going to look at what is no longer serving you during this full moon. You are the only one that 3 tarot cards came out for, so I'm interested to see what they are. Wow. We have the Tower, the 7 of Wands, and the 6 of Swords. This is a very clear message. Um, what is no longer serving you is you trying to flee a big change in your life. There's something that is, wow. I'm in awe over the little synchronicities that are happening right now. Um, the the Tower card is all about breaking down of something that wasn't a stable um, thing to begin with. It was built off of unstable ground. And so the universe is taking charge and changing it so that you can rebuild from a stable ground. Hence coagulation, where you can really be involved and create from a place of stability, create that healing moment from a stable place. With the 7 of Wands here, this is truly about you feeling backed into a corner, of feeling like, no, 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 I don't want to feel that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to experience that. And I don't want to face this change head on. I was comfortable. I was, maybe happy isn't the right word, but I was existing peacefully in this unstable environment that maybe wasn't so unstable on the surface, but internally, and so on. And so this is this feeling of defensiveness. And with the 6 of Swords, this card can speak of moving into a better time, but the ultimate theme of this card is about fleeing a situation, about leaving something behind. And so I feel like you are trying your best to really leave this change in the past. And the universe is saying, you can't do it like that. You can't. I mean, sure you could, but all of this baggage would come with you. All of these swords in the boat would stay there with you, and it would be really heavy. You would end up potentially creating the same scenario for yourself in the future if you try to build again from this place of instability again. So the universe is saying drop the defensiveness and allow yourself to to jump off the edge, to really come to a place of beautiful understanding and healing. And when I say jump off the edge, I mean because he's being backed up to the edge of this cliff, and maybe it's time for you to have that fool moment where you take the leap and really decide to go um after something new, but in a way that feels innocent. And so that's going to start from a place of healing because the fool isn't about taking baggage with him. He has nothing really with him except for his little sack of tools. And that's probably going to come from your ability to really heal and address what Chiron is trying to teach you at this time. It may be that this full moon is transiting in the same house as your Chiron. That would be a wild synchronicity. But for anybody who that's not happening, don't worry about it. It's still something that is coming up for you and really needing to be addressed. You may actually want to read about what sign your Chiron is in and take a look at that kind of healing. So now I want to leave you with a tool to use for how to let this go, how to get out of this defensiveness and stop running away from the change that's trying to happen. We have the gem. This is cool. These are very similar in the way that they are drawn. And I mean, this is by the same artist, but this is really telling me that the thing that's going to help you feel like you can take this change on head on, and you can be an active participant in the direction that you're going. It's going to come from your ability to go beneath the surface, go into the depths of who you are, to find the treasures that are so beautiful, the things that are the loudest when it comes to other people that love you, the things that they see in you, maybe you don't necessarily see in yourself, those are going to be the things that you are diving down into to find and take up to the surface. Gems, precious gems, are never created on the surface, or they rarely are. They are usually created, like a diamond in the rough. In the dark and the pressure of earth. And so this is definitely saying that the best thing for you to do right now in order to stop feeling so defensive is to make a complete turn and go towards it. Go towards the change. See what it awakens in you. Face your fears. Drop the sword and the shield and just surrender to what is happening so that you can grow from this, so that you can birth these and find these little gems in this. And the way that this is coming together, it's like the coagulation of things coming together in your life, the process of discovering yourself and really diving in. It's like you are discovering all of the little things in you that you had no idea, and now they are being integrated into your future, into the path that you are going to head down. So lastly, let's give you a little message from your spirit guides about the overarching energy of this reading. So, wow, you got core. This is a very beautiful message about, there is the choice that you can make to really find inner stillness. It's the core. You are diving deep into it. Your guides are in full support of you really leaning into yourself, leaning into stillness. Maybe you just need to meditate for a little bit or take some restful days off of work. Maybe this is just a really good time. And since this is the full moon is happening this weekend, it's a good weekend for you to rest and recuperate and find this inner stillness in your heart so that when you move forward, you don't feel depleted. You still feel like your core is lit. It's interesting that all three of these readings have had some kind of theme of an inner fire being lit. So I feel like this is just a really for the co-creative energy of the world for people to go after their passions and their desires and reinstill a feeling of passion in their life. So I really feel like your guides are just saying, we hear you, we see you. And the way to feeling better and really, opening your third eye and seeing things for what they truly are is going to be through you diving deep into yourself and really taking a look at the healing that is trying to take place and exist in your life. It wouldn't be happening if you weren't able and capable of experiencing it. Our brains protect us literally through traumatic events. Our brains will literally block out something because we did not have the wherewithal to address it. And your guides are saying that now you do have the ability to face this change head on and see what it's bringing up for you, to be an active participant in the coming together of the stability that will be birthed from you really taking responsibility for your emotions and your actions during this big event in your life. So overall, I feel like this full moon is a big time for you, a really important time for you, and one where you may need to make some big decisions, but you are capable and you are worthy. You are so worthy of this healing that is really trying to take place. You're worthy and of more than just, a surface level instant gratification moment where you run away and you find relief. You are worthy of a deeper experience of finding these gems that are hidden within you. It's time for you to explore your inner core and really allow things to come to a centered experience, including your mind. So I wish you all the best on your journey. I think that you have everything that it takes to really explore these parts of yourself. I know it may be a little bit scary, but trust the process. The universe wouldn't give you anything that you can't handle, and you can take your time. You can take as much time as you need to explore these aspects of yourself. I just feel like this full moon is the opening for this adventure for yourself. So don't turn away, don't deny yourself, embrace yourself. Blessed be.